They made it worse. I don't know how the fuck they did it. I don't want to know how they did it. But they made everything 100 times worse than it already was. For those just joining me, and for those who don't know who I am, hi! Welcome to the channel that's been non-stop talking about this for a good while now. Almost to the point where it's starting to become the only thing I've talked about in this channel thus far. I didn't want to talk about this. I thought the dust was going to settle on this days ago. It's why I made the original stream the finale. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was angry. And I wanted to be done with it. I wanted to let everything go. Just work on my new video about, that I discussed the last live stream. Maybe go for a walk. Have this be a normal day. Just discuss normal topics. Let everything go back to normal. Let everything simmer down, I didn't want to come back to this topic. I didn't want to start bitching about it. But here we are. And would you believe that this is even worse than the initial apology that I read on the live stream? And would you believe that it gets worse from the initial response here? We have a lot to go through. And so much has happened just today. For those who don't know, at around 11:27 or 11 o'clock on April 11th, 2018, Channel Awesome posted a response to the allegations set out in the Not So Awesome document. Not all of them, but just the ones that they felt they need to clarify. We're going to go through it now. And not only are we going to go through it now, but we're also going to go through the stuff that's since come up that they've actually revealed by posting this document. Y'all ready to get real sad this stream? Y'all ready to get just absolutely fucked up this stream? You want to hear some of the most twisted shit you've ever heard by the end of this? Well, you made it to this live stream, you clicked on it, now you're gonna suffer. Let's begin. No beating around the bush this time, let's just get right into it. Since the posting of the Not So Awesome document on Monday, April 2nd, 2018, we have been exploring all of our options of how to address the lies that have been alleged by multiple disgruntled individuals with vindictive intentions. Right in the first sentence, they already dismissed this as lies against disgruntled individuals, multiple disgruntled individuals, not even claiming who exactly they are or what they've talked about, but just that their intentions were vindictive. Just let that settle in there. That's going to be just the placeholder for everything else that's about to show up. Channel Awesome has always tried to keep our dealings with our content partners out of the public eye, and despite any differences or disagreements, we have never publicly spoken negatively about any of them. But a response to the accusations leveled against us must happen. I'll just let that sink in. You guys can formulate your own things about whether or not they've spoken negatively about them from the evidence that's already out there. Let's continue. Obviously, we cannot address all 73 plus pages of accusations against us in this forum, but we will address the most egregious now, aka 5, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them are trying to, and these are really short too. 12 out of the 73-page document And some of these were not even problems that were discussed in the initial document. It only really addresses 4 people in particular. 3 of them are female producers, 1 of them was a male producer. Accusation: Jane Doe, one of the anonymous users, accuses us of knowing about a sexual deviant for over a year. Fact. Keep in mind how that's formatted, how it's accusation and fact. Because that's going to play a factor as we get more into this. The screenshot below clearly demonstrates the time elapsed from being made aware of the individual in question, name redacted for legal reasons, and the time the content partner was released from Channel Awesome. 3 weeks, not over a year. During the 3-week period, we consulted a lawyer and waited to see if anyone would come directly to us, as our knowledge of this was secondhand. It is obvious the person who came forward with this in the Not So Awesome document wants their name protected, so we will continue to do so. A. You did not. The person in question that I'm not going to spoil who it is here, because we're going to address that after we're done reading. You didn't just know about this, that all the information was secondhand. You probably consulted over a 3-week period. I may give you that. But the producer's actions you have known about for the longest time. It's a producer in question. It's not Brental Floss, who everyone originally thought it was. But as people in chat are probably going to say anyways, it's not him, but it's someone you'd never guess. In the document, it says, Mike and Holly, I'd like to meet at 10:30 a.m. to discuss how we're going to handle blank. Thanks. I'm going to be at... That's from Robert Walker. Mike, I'm going to be at the location waiting for the flooring delivery. Robert Walker, wait, are you not going to be around at 11 for the meeting? Mike, the tracking updated to state that it will be delivered today, all the floor and wall pieces. Mike, it originally stated it would be on Tuesday. Rob, well, what do you want me to do? Or what do you want to do? Mike, plus I didn't get a hold of the lawyer. Just hold it off. You wanted me to talk to our lawyer, and he isn't today either. Robert, well, it may be moot. The girl doesn't want to file a formal complaint, which means we can't really say it's because of his involvement with her. She's afraid of repercussions. So the question is, what would we tell blank? Just that he's dropped? Doug, Darian. I think we can at least tell him we've been getting complaints about it. That'd be my thought. Rob, well, the person who complained doesn't want it getting back to her. Mike, Holly, and I will talk later. I postponed the meeting for now. Mike can't be there at 11 anyway because of a botched delivery. Mike and Holly, at which point should we talk about what we're going to say, and when should we reschedule the meeting with Holly? Oh, are the 3 of us not talking about it tomorrow? Rob, we can talk about it tomorrow. They never did. And Holly has also confirmed the identity of said person on Twitter. Holly, oh wait, didn't Mike say something about talking to the lawyer? Or is that something about something else? Rob, well, I asked him to ask the lawyer just in case. I suppose we can wait until Mike hears back. Blank asked via Skype text that what the meeting was going to be about. I just ignored him. And they zoomed in particularly on this part in particular. Did we want to drop blank on Friday, and if so, what time? Early. 10 to 11-ish. Okay, I'll grab him tomorrow or Thursday. Where in any of this does it prove that there's a 3-week period? All I'm seeing is that they were talking about dropping him, and that they were waiting for a lawyer, and that's it. You also had a 3-week period, and now you're just now thinking of dropping him back in 2013? Granted, they did drop him, but at the same time, if you knew this was a problem, and you knew about this, Why did you not do it sooner? It doesn't take you 3 weeks to get a lawyer. It I don't know. For all I know, it could have. But why did you just say nothing in those 3 weeks instead of informing other producers of what was going on? Or at least informing people in the company, like Doug, what was going on. Maybe Doug Darien is Doug Walker. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Why did you not inform any of the Chicago crew? Why did you not inform people who would be privy to know this? Why have you not informed them of this now? Why are you just now telling us? You had 5 years, and you have still said nothing about this, and we're only just learning about this now? Excuse me? That makes this worse. We're not even past accusation 1 yet. Accusation. Sean Faust accuses Channel Awesome COO and founder Mike Ellis of a conversation of sexual nature that lasted over 2 hours, page 49 and 50. Mike Ellis resigned from the company and no contact from Mike Ellis was attempted after the conversation was reported to Michael Michaud. With any termination involving a founder and shareholder, legal separation must happen and this takes time. The screenshot. This went on for 2 hours. For these 2 hours, I typed not one word to him, but he had this entire conversation with himself and multiple times tried the whole sorry I didn't mean to scare you off tactic on me, as if it was going to make things better. I showed this conversation log to 2 people. This is essentially what was in the document. And it's literally what Sean wrote in the document, and they're using that as proof. This does not prove anything. This is just stuff we already know. You're saying it's an accusation and that this is fact. There's nothing factual about this. You're just restating the info. Multiple content partners state payment for their contributions to the site were not compensated. From the beginning of the site, anyone that has been added as a content partner was informed that ChannelAwesome.com was an aggregator for their content. At no time did Channel Awesome take a cut of their videos, as the practice is with multi-channel networks. We never wanted to be a multi-channel network and only asked them to schedule their videos that they already were doing for Blip.tv and YouTube. We gave them access to over 30 million page views and over 1 million unique viewers a month at our height. Channel Awesome viewed the partnership as a way to help content partners grow their audience while bringing in new content and increasing the community within the site. You were an aggregator for content. But you never made this clear. At no time did Channel Awesome take a cut of their videos. Where are you addressing all of the allegations that point this false? Regardless of if anything in the document is true or not. I'm inclined to believe it's true. But if you're going to say that everything in the document is lies and false, show proof to back up it. Where are the specific examples of them actually taking a cut from other people's videos without their permission? Where is all the stuff regarding the Uncanny Valley? Where is all the stuff regarding the anniversary movies? Where is the stuff accusing Mike of asking for crossovers when they were at a crossover event because they needed money to support the site? Where is any of that? Yeah, you could say you're not an aggregator. What about all the other stuff that happened? You never wanted to be a multi-channel network. Okay, fine. You didn't want to be a multi-channel network. You just wanted to be an aggregator for content. I was there when that guy with the glasses was happening. That is not as it was advertised. And furthermore, you wanted people to stick by the site out of brand loyalty, and because them going outside of this would have harmed the reputation of the site. Allison is proof of this. Phelan is proof of this. Holly, your HR person, is proof of this. This is dumb. You can't just pay people in exposure. You are confirming that they were just there for exposure and nothing else. Again, all you're doing is reaffirming the things in the document that were already talked about. and you're not discussing any of them. You're just saying, here's the facts as they are, as facts. But you're not showing any proof to back that up, and the proof you are showing is only, like, dismissing your case. It's not helping you in any way, shape, or form. Further benefiting content partners, Channel Awesome covered all costs with server, hosting, and labor costs associated with maintenance and updates. We don't care about the site updates. What about food or water? What about the claims about Kikassia? Them needing to be told this while they're working in the Arizona fucking desert. Okay, server maintenance, whatever. Another thing, where does the money for that come from? Where are you getting it? From DVD sales? Okay, so why aren't you giving the producers that worked in it a cut? Or at the very least, a copy of a DVD of the projects they worked on? Some of the fans and the producers, the fans, everyone, a lot of people haven't gotten their copies yet of their movies. Ever. None of these costs were ever passed along to our content partners. Yeah. But you never specified that. And you asked them, you confronted them about mid-rolls. I'm getting really pissed. Let's move on. The document talks about the drop in traffic to the site. You gonna talk about who was talking about this? You gonna bring up Allison? Oh no, you're not. Okay. While we did have an initial drop after the switch to demo reel, the real hit to the site's traffic came from our growing presence on YouTube. When we relaunched the Nostalgia Critic show in January of 2013, Blip.tv decided to start placing the full episode up on the League of Super Critics channel a week after we launched it on That Guy with the Glasses. You don't see a single correlation to ending your core character and a drop in viewers. People were there during the League of Super Critics. People left during the League of Super Critics, and they have since told you, and people could confirm, I could confirm that that is false. You were still not getting any views. They were still dropping from the statistics you've had. Where's the graph showing any of this? Are we just supposed to go off your word? Again, even if they're all lies, I still don't know who to believe. Make it out so that, just put out evidence. At least apologize, even if you are completely in the right. Do something other than this. Not say it's blatantly accusation. Fact. With almost no support, and the support you are getting is from the document, which you claim to have nothing in. You claim to not go through the entire thing. I'm not convinced of that. I'm convinced you skimmed it for individual producers. As we grew on League of Super Critics, more and more people decided to watch it on YouTube instead of our site. The biggest blow to the site traffic before the downfall of Blip.tv. No shit. Why would they go to your site when they could just watch it right there on YouTube? And then you got all uppity about mid-rolls and about Patreon and other website support, and then when those were addressed, it was all the producer's fault. Where is that? Where is any of this that you bring? Where is any of this being brought up? It's certainly not here. It's not anywhere further into the document. While we won't go into full details, we were forced to abandon the League of Super Critics channel and instantly start a channel that is awesome in May 2015. Your solution was to replace a YouTube channel that was gaining you views through... Okay, your site was supposed to be the aggregator, so instead of dropping the League of Super Critics and just making Channel Awesome the only way to get these videos, you decide to make a channel that's awesome. You decide to make that the YouTube channel in May 2015? That is the strangest decision if you're trying to keep web traffic. This is the point when traffic began to quickly drop off of our site, now channelawesome.com. One of the biggest accusers, keep that wording in mind, stated that they might still be on the site if the views were there. As stated by Kaylin, Mars Girl, below, I've stated a few times elsewhere, but had he decided to wean his audience onto demo reel, rather than just suddenly hard stopping Nostalgia Critic to literally everyone's surprise, maybe it could have done well, and maybe we'd all still be relying on channelawesome.com for some of our views. Because once To Boldly Flee happened, and there was no Nostalgia Critic, viewership plummeted. It plummeted on League of Super Critics too. I was part of that channel. I had almost subscribed to it before you decided to close the entire thing down and put up the Channel Awesome YouTube channel as it is now. Well, first a channel that is awesome in 2015, and now to the Channel Awesome, the actual YouTube channel. Again, you're saying, like, your biggest accuser said this, like, it was stated by Kaylin, but you're not refuting what she's saying. You just showed what she said in the document. Accusation. Multiple content partners have alleged our anniversary specials were not compensated for time worked, and crossover videos were asked to be turned over if filmed to Channel Awesome. When invitations for the anniversary specials were issued, we made it clear to all content producers, or partners, my bad, that their participation was on a voluntary basis. In addition, content partners were always given the option of declining our invitation with no questions and no repercussions. We understood we were asking our content partners to give up their time and that not everyone could do it. Two things. Number one, even if it was on the voluntary basis, none of this explains everything that went down inside of the anniversary specials. You seem to just be completely ignoring that, even though this is not the issue, like, that people had. And your response to this is to show the third-year anniversary film, To Boldly Flee, as your evidence. Or no, is this To Boldly Flee? I think this might be Suburban Nights. Yeah, because it was the Brawl, Kickassia, and then Suburban Nights. And the second point. Oh yeah, they could have declined it. Decline the one thing that would probably gain them more exposure on the site because you weren't doing a good enough job at it, even though that was the one thing that you promised. You promised for them to be exposed to. Where's the thing saying they had 30 million page views on there? That's the blip statistic. That's just blip in general. That had nothing to do with your channel or your website. You're using false statistics to back up your point. I was there when Blip TV happened. I watched more than just the Channel Awesome people on the blip.tv page. I watched so many other producers through there. I watched Electric Dragon 505 on there. I did even watch the Nostalgia Critics videos and other Channel Awesome videos when they were on there. None of these stats are right. If I had screenshots, which I may have on, like, my phone from years ago when the site was still active, I could probably show this to you. But thankfully, we have the Wayback Archive to try and show us if this is true or not. Even Nostalgia Critics videos didn't do that well on blip.tv, even though that was their main hosting site. That should say something. He did better than all the other content creators, but he wasn't, like, hitting it big overall. That was what the site was for. And yet, again, you're saying they didn't get any payment for what they did. So here's a question. Why are you not addressing the fact that you were uploading other videos in lieu of that? Because Blip paid you. Why are you not addressing the fact that you were uploading their videos to that other site and they never got paid for that amount of time that you were doing that, and instead you got that money? Where are you addressing that? Where is any of this? And the anniversary specials, like, when you're not getting paid and the only thing you have is exposure, why the fuck would they decline that? That seems like a raw deal. You either show up and you get exposure, or you don't and you just fuck off. That's what this is telling me. And for those that did show up and made the effects like Phelan, they were just told to fuck off anyway. They said it looked half-assed and they never even used it in the final product. So even for the producers that were there, you never listened to them. You're continuing to state you never listened to them, that it was all voluntary. And all you have to show for it is this contract that says you agree inside to the terms below. The contract that Holly and others have also brought up that you made them sign. This was drafted on March 18th, 2011. Nobody signed, at least on this statement. It doesn't look like this person signed until 3 days after the fact. Why did you not just release this before they got there? Why did they just get this as they were getting there? This is the contract that was forced upon people after they injured their legs and were refused ice on their legs. You're just reaffirming. Stop this. You're only adding more evidence to the people who you are trying to say are liars. Everyone who attended the anniversary was told that Channel Awesome would cover the cost of travel, lodging, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if the filming went late. That is blatantly untrue. The only time it was true was when you covered the travel cost for the last anniversary special they really ever did. The Uncanny Valley, you still didn't give Brad compensation for, even though he's still one of the ones who vehemently supported you and still supports you through thick and thin. Don't harass him on that, by the way. I shouldn't have to say that, but it's gotten to the point where it's still going, even after all this time. And the 10th anniversary movie. That was supposed to happen, that you had already paid tickets for. So in a sense you learned, oh shit, maybe we should pay for the people to come over there and pay for their cost and expenses. Why did you just said that it was all voluntary. Now you're also saying you covered all of the costs. Who wrote this? Are you a moron? Did you not think to proofread this? A few content partners alleged a misogynistic work atmosphere by Channel Awesome. Fact. Channel Awesome's current and former female staff, including Tamara Chambers, Rachel Teets, Ayana Wade, and Heather Tamara, Rachel, Ayana, and Heather have had vastly different experiences than the ones described. We are always trying to improve ourselves both personally and professionally, and moving forward, we will implement mandatory sensitivity training for all staff to ensure we maintain a culture of respect for all employees. Oh, so you mean only the Chicago staff had vastly different experiences, but just because these 4 people had different experiences than all of the others combined, like the few women on the Google Doc, and yeah, the rest are almost, oh no, it's suddenly alright. No, just all these women are saying it, so it must be okay. We're just going to completely ignore all the male producers who are also saying there's a misogynistic work environment. We're going to ignore all the female producers because it's those females that are wrong, because they didn't work with us in Chicago. So obviously there's no misogynistic work environment, even though we have to, train them and implement mandatory safety, which we probably wouldn't even get around to anyway, even though that was one of the things that was addressed on the document in a letter to all of you. Holly Brown makes numerous accusations throughout the document. Holly Brown is a former employee and shareholder who was allowed to resign. Unfortunately, her accusations are not true and are vindictive in nature. Go on Holly's Twitter right now. She has already posted chat logs that immediately contradict this. There's no facts to this. They're just saying, oh no, Holly Brown's just a fucking liar. Or Holly Christine, my bad. Not Holly Brown. Holly Christine is a fucking liar. The one thing she vouched for was that Rob Walker was one of the only people, if not the only person, who did not want her to leave as the HR person. It's shown in the chat logs that she still has. You shot yourself in the foot with that one. Did you not think she had any of these? Did you not think people would check? Did you not think people would look in the document that she posted with one of the lengthier responses and think to look at the screenshots that were already posted, even if they were just Skype screenshots? Furthermore, did you not think that, anyone had saved it? Did you think anyone hadn't saved any of this, I should say? And furthermore, the fact that you were just saying they are straight up lying shows that you're on the defensive. You don't feel. You don't seem to convey any remorse for anything that you did. Any sort of regret. You regret others feel that way, but not yourself. Or yourselves. Holly Brown alleges CEO, Michael Michaud, is sole owner of the Nostalgia Critic IP. The IP is owned by Channel Awesome Incorporated. The partnership is owned by 4 individuals, with the 5th person joining ownership by the end of the year. Good. So since this document is not defending Michaud in any way, shape, or form, sarcasm, fire him. Because that seems to be the root of everyone's problems. That seems to be the main cause that everyone's having there. If it's owned by 5 other people, someone take the other stake and fire him. Also, who's to say the 5 other people aren't, Doug, Rob, Michaud, those 3 people right there. This is exactly what I said before. Who's to say that Mike Ellis and Bargov still aren't shareholders to the Nostalgia Critic IP? Those are the 2 other missing people. Did you not think people would add 2 and 2 together when they were listed in the document as some of the main people that were on there? So by process of elimination, because Doug and Rob didn't want to do shit, Bargov's gone, and Mike Ellis resigned, only 1 person remains, Mike Michaud. You're the 1 person that is still left in all of this. You just... If that's to be believed, and that Mike and Bargov did hold other shares, because that is just pure speculation on my part, if that's true, and if I believe you're dumb enough to admit that at this point, that means it does have 1 sole IP. And if it doesn't, and there are these random people that we don't know about who you could have at least named, then fire Mike. That's it. End of story. If you want to solve the problem, cut it off at the roots. Holly Brown alleges Channel Awesome had her work during To Boldly Flee after her surgery. During this time, Robert Walker, Doug Walker, and Michael Michaud told her she did not have to work. Site updates were performed by others as she recovered. Okay, so Doug Darien is Doug Walker. I assume Darien is Doug's middle name. That's fine then. At least on flight time. Doug, that's fine then. Mike, at least on flight times, mainly for the pickups. Doug, no problem. Rob, nothing going on in Troll Land. Holly, Houston, we have a problem. Mike, question mark. Rob, what? Holly, I am in such an incredible amount of pain from my gallbladder today that I nearly called one of you to take me to the hospital today. I'm not going to Iowa, but I can't really get anything else done in the state for the 4 years during or pre-production or both. Rob, for the 4-year during or pre-production or both. Holly, both. I've been curled up in a ball for the last 13 hours. I'm really scared. Rob, do you want to go to the ER? Holly, I'm afraid if I go that they'll want to take it out today. Mike, there is no reason to keep being in pain though. I can take up all the other shit during the 4-year. Rob, yeah, what Mike said. Mike, don't want to rupture anything. Rob, we'll have myself, Jillian, Mike, Jim Truckin. We'll have myself, Jillian, and Mike. Jim Truckin was offering some help. I might be able to give him a call. Mike, isn't Jim in Florida? Holly, then yes, I want to go. I just feel bad this is all happening right now. Mike, it's all good. Just get whatever needs to be done. The longer it gets put off, the worse it could be. Rob, health trumps business. It'd be easier knowing you're on the mend anyway. Holly, okay. Rob, okay, so what now? Holly, hospital. I have to write down all of my meds. Rob, how are you getting there? Holly, I need someone to take me, but there's no way I can drive. Rob, I can take you, but I can't stay long because I've got to work at the Shiro office tonight. They pulled a fast one on me because I'm out next Tuesday and the following Monday. Doug, if you need someone to pick you up, give me a call. I'm gonna be out today, but if you call and let me know where you are, I can come and get you. Doug, pick up as in after Rob drops you off. Holly, okay. Doug, alright, so Rob, you drop her off, and if she needs to be picked up, I'll do it once she calls. The number again is redacted. Rob, okay, let me get ready. I'll leave in a few minutes. Which hospital are you going to? I can't zoom in any further on this. Doug, heading out. Give me a call when you need me. Holly, I have no idea what's close. Rob, Hinsdale, there's Good Sam, that's in Downers, where I took Aaron. Holly, that's probably the closest one, I know. Mike, Lagrange Memorial. Mike is on 55th and Willow Springs Road. Rob, I can do either. Rob, also Rob. BRB, just type an answer. Or an anwer. Holly, don't care if Lagrange is closer, then I want to go there. Rob, okay, will do, leaving in 2 minutes, see you shortly. Holly, okay. 7 hours passes. Or no, it was 12 o'clock p.m., so that would mean 12 hours passage and then additional 7, so 19 hours had passed. Rob, Doug, make sure you get me that head count for catering. I need to know the exact number of people eating. Make sure to include any staff you want as well. Holly goes into surgery at 2:30, assuming the inflammation in the gallbladder stays down. Her plan, as of last night, was to continue to recoup in the hotel if the doc allows it. Mike, it'd be better to stay at home, though, I think. I think the comfort of home would be better than a shared hotel room. I'll talk to her post-operation. I think she'd rather do the hotel because being home alone will drive her nuts, and I think she'd rather be in the loop. Her idea, not mine. If she's that bad, I'm going to offer her our place so Aaron can be around at night. Mike, do you want to do the 4-year now? Wait, Doug isn't on. Rob, I'm typing a lot so I can wait. Instructions for catering and updated info in the 4-year chat. I'm finalizing the list of what we'll need. Mike, you there? Mike, yeah. And this was sent 15 minutes later. The whole finalizing list. And then he says, Mike, are you there after 15 minutes? Mike, yeah. Rob, Doug's gonna hop in a second. Mike, K. Give me 5. Okay. This doesn't rebut your statement. All this is saying is that Holly needed to go to surgery. She didn't have to work. You still fired her. Okay. Even if we're to believe what's been said here, hang on, go up. Sedatives were performed as she recovered. Nowhere in there did you mention if or when she was fired. She's fired, she's no longer working at the company, but you're not disputing that the site updates were happening from someone else as she recovered, and that she was just not going to do them anymore. Because the site updates continued long after she left. All this is doing was saying she had surgery, and then Mike was like, okay, give me 5, and then it just cuts there. I'm willing to bet so much fucking money that post that was Mike talking with Holly about how they were fired, or about how they fired her. And if not that, then I don't know what. But point was, this didn't debate anything. This didn't debate the accusation. And no, this doesn't even show that, or no, this doesn't even debate the accusation that they had her work during To Boldly Flee, because all this is showing is it in the past day. Nowhere in here is it showing anything in regards to, like, oh, we're going to be having To Boldly Flee. It only shows catering, like instructions for catering, and the rest of that. What about everything else? What about a camera crew? What about seeing if everyone's there on time? What about all that? Holly's still attesting that she did work during those hours. She didn't get a break. She didn't get a break. She worked, like, almost every single day of the year. Accusation. Lindsay Ellis alleges Doug Walker and Channel Awesome ignored concerns regarding the transformation scene. As the screenshot below shows, Lindsay was repeatedly asked for her opinion and approval of the scene before it was finalized. Lindsay even helped Doug make the scene sound better. Lindsay, just remember, audience memory is one shot long. Doug, oh, almost forgot as well, for the scene where you're getting assimilated, we need the grunt noises. They can be as over the top and as silly as, I assume it says, as you want. Lindsay, here's the MP3. It just links it in there. Doug, thank you. Lindsay, I did some pre-mixing and added a tiny poppy reverb. Lindsay, so assuming the frame rate is the same, you should be able to drop it in the timeline. Doug, perfect. Doug, will you also have time to do the scream and the grunt sometime soon? It doesn't have to be right away, but by Monday would be preferred. Lindsay, sure, just not right now. Neighbors got babies, apparently. Doug, all good. Lindsay, I can do daytime screaming. I just didn't today because my voice was all shot. Lindsay, singing like Bonnie Tyler is hard. Lindsay, this is supposed to be, it's supposed to be an easy, piece of cake sort of thing. Doug, lol, all good, thanks again. Lindsay, no problem. Doug, do you know when you'll have the screaming and grunts done? And this was 4 days later. Lindsay sends it over. Doug Walker, thank you. Lindsay, I'm going to have to take that screaming and grunting line out of context to discredit you, by the by. Doug, of course. Lindsay, also, when you're mixing, do you know how to do an EQ? Doug, a bit. Lindsay, easy way to make something sound like it's coming from the other side of a door is to cut out the high frequencies. Lindsay, anything above 1,500 kilohertz. Lindsay, I think that's just correcting it to above, not anything above 1,500 kilohertz. Doug, I also use low pass as well. We'll keep that in mind. Lindsay, that would be a low pass. Lindsay, same thing. Lindsay, cool. Ends it off. 9 days later, Doug sends the files. Doug, here's the scene. I'm still leaning towards cutting it, but I still want to know your thoughts. Lindsay, so you're going to cut from drill to after film rain. Lindsay, as I see it, it's not that bad, but I think it's up to you. Lindsay, though by this point, I'm sure it's well exported. Doug, this is Rob. We have both versions uploaded. When he reads this, he'll tell Holly which one to go with. Lindsay, well, Doug said his problem last night is that it just wasn't funny, so I don't feel it's necessarily offensive or creepy, so Doug, go with your instincts. Whichever way is fine with me. Hey, Doug, you should... And then September 10th comes around. Hey, Doug, you should put that song up on iTunes stat. I've been getting a lot of requests for it. Money being lost. So, yeah. That wasn't repeatedly asking for approval. They asked her once, and it was only after Doug was saying he would probably cut the scene. And then Rob took over on Doug's account. Lindsay helped make the scene sound better, but that's all the majority of this is. And then they bring up how a song file was not being uploaded on iTunes and how they were losing money. And that's where it ends. Again, this doesn't prove anything. Okay, it proved that Lindsay was saying it, helped make it's not proving the accusation right. The fact is that Lindsay was not repeatedly asked for her opinion and approval. She was just the one sending it over because Doug was the one who wanted it to be shut. She was just following his orders because, oh gee, him and Michaud are the bosses of the site. Why wouldn't she listen? And Lindsay wasn't the one who brought this up. You know this, right? In the original Twitter accounts that I was there for, you can look on my Twitter account right now. You can look on the other Twitter account I'm about to mention to confirm this for yourself, all of you. It's not her. It was Mars Girl that brought it up. Or was it Allison? It was one of the two. But they were the ones who brought it up and showed the script. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Allison who showed the script. And then it was Linkara who brought it up. And Linkara saw this, and he got massively pissed on Twitter, saying, no, like, this needs to be corrected because none of this is true. Lindsay didn't say anything about the scene. She was involved with it, but everyone had a problem with it. Everyone else had a problem with it, and they tried to confront you on it, and you just had it change slightly, but it was only just slightly better than what you originally had. Which, if you're implying rape, that's not much better. So why are you bringing Lindsay into this? Why are you dragging her into this? When, yeah, she did the scene. Otherwise, she wasn't the one who brought up this argument in the document that you so clearly read through and saw the most egregious parts in. Lindsay Ellis alleges Channel Awesome did not do enough to protect female content partners from abusive commenters. Fact. Channel Awesome has a strict policy regarding our community, including IP banning all abusive posters, as well as banning their account via username and email, and continuing to monitor our forums. We worked with Lindsay to directly help her address issues resulting from an abusive commenter. Two things right off the bat. Number one, you're addressing the Channel Awesome forums and the posts. And of course there's going to be toxic assholes. It's the internet. You gotta make an attempt to control that anyway. I just don't know why you brought Lindsay on to do that, even. Like, yeah, she's a female, but she's not, like, well-equipped to... None of them were. Linkara was brought on. He probably wasn't well-equipped when just starting out on the site. Lindsay also was. She probably wasn't the most well-equipped for this situation either. I think Matthew was also there in the forums, and you also had him come on? But why? And also... I'm gonna get into the screenshot that's posted along with this in a second, because all it does is, like, show that guy with the glasses, like, video links and the comments. The second thing is, you didn't even address any of the harassment that was there, and not only in previous did you actually reaffirm that all this abusive behavior is happening just by having this whole accusation fact, just this whole layout, and how you presented this. Not only does that showcase it, but you went out of your way to just bring up a point in, like, comments and random people just talking about it and having very sexist behavior that you didn't address anything. All this is just, this is all this document is. I'm repeating myself at this point, because the document is repeating itself. Or, well, it is up until this point, and these last ones, pretty fucking bad. These are the ones that got me legitimately pissed off. Lindsay Ellis alleges Channel Awesome... I already read that. The screenshot. Mike. This is all Mike. Stat counter, support, knowledge... It's a link. Install it on your Tumblr. It's supposed to show IP/location of your visitors. You should be able to figure out his IP from that. This is the IP I pulled from our server access logs from the last time he logged in. It goes to a Mount Laurel, New Jersey Comcast hub, which is about 1 hour from Staten Island, so it should be legit. As you see, he visited one of your videos. Next that Mount Laurel is Comcast headquarters. I am certain that his is IP, though, as only 4 other accounts logged in that exact second. And new IP, he uses a proxy. This is his new one today. Lindsay. He commented on Shez. Or Shay, or whatever. Accusation. Allison Pregler states not a single person wasn't miserable. Fact. In this video, you'll find that Allison says that it was a great production to be a part of. It was a lot of fun to be part of this and Suburban Nights. I'm not even going to play the video. Number 1, because I don't have sound. Number 2, because you can look at this yourself. And number 3, because of course she'd say that. You know why? Because she's your employee. Or at least she was supposed to be, like, an employer of sorts. Of course they're not going to badmouth the company you worked for. I could badmouth Walmart all I want. The people who work at Walmart or have since moved on from Walmart can badmouth it all they want, but as they work there, they can't do that because otherwise you'd lose your fucking job. And you know what else? This is an extra from To Boldly Flee on the DVDs that, half of the people didn't get. And they just posted it up on Vimeo. Accusation. Multiple content partners address the lack of communication. Fact. We agree communication could have and should have been better. We got into this business based on our passion for content creation and have had many growing pains over the years. We always strive to learn from our mistakes and strengthen our skills. Yet you haven't addressed any of this happening recently. You've had a communication for... This has been known since 2013, right when Allison and Phelan left the site. We've all known this. Mr. Mediker knew this. Everyone knew this. This was always a problem. You haven't fixed it then, even though everyone was complaining about it, and you still haven't fixed it. Have we made mistakes? Yes, we have. Are you going to apologize for said mistakes? No, you're not. You say we even discussed some of our challenges in our behind-the-scenes videos. Yeah. You want to know what else is in the behind-the-scenes videos? Holly. And you know what else is being shown in those behind-the-scenes videos? Just how bad it is. It's not as bad as any of the things claimed in the document, but if you look in the behind-the-scenes videos that work with the Nostalgia Critic and work with that inner team, you'll see Holly in there. She was there. She can claim all of this stuff because she was there. She was with you. She did work HR, and you acknowledge she worked HR. And because you're not refuting any of these points, all you're doing is, say it with me, everyone, reaffirming what's already been stated. We've always focused on trying to entertain our viewers, shine spotlights on unknown talent, and share our attention with various charities. And we hope to continue to do so moving forward. Well, newsflash. Some of your biggest partners have just jumped ship. Not only that, some of your biggest sponsors have jumped ship. Since this document came out, Angry Joe, one of the people who everyone thought was just incredibly loyal to the site, would never leave it, is now gone. Completely off, deleted from the site. And also gone is Masako X, who worked for Team 4-Star. He no longer posts his videos up there. Masako is not vocal on Twitter or anything like... He doesn't really discuss this, but he's no longer on there. All that's left in the comics and anime section is Sage. Battle Geek Plus, right now, is trying as hard as they fucking could. They've been trying all week to try and get a response from you, and they've gotten nothing. All they've gotten is this, the hour response thing that everyone else got. Even Tony Goldmark tried to tell you that posting that apology on Twitter initially was a terrible idea and was only going to make the situation worse. You would have been better off past our response by saying nothing. But do you want to know the absolute worst part of all of this? The thing that actually sickens me? Do you want to know, for those of you who haven't guessed it yet, because I haven't looked at chat, and by God, I know I'm going to have a lot to sift through because of this, do you want to know, for those of you who haven't looked, who the sexual deviant was and what they did? And has been confirmed on Twitter by Holly, Mars Girl, and most everyone else who's been associated with Channel Awesome. Jew Wario. Justin Carmichael. You know, the man who they gave a public wake and eulogy for, that they said they never wanted to, you know, post on there. Like, they didn't want to post on a smaller channel because, oh, wouldn't get any attention. Because, we'll let Doug post it. If you go back and read here, they didn't even try to cover it up. You can even see what other letter in the alphabet has this kind of structure to it. We already know that's a J. And unless you're saying Jevons, which you couldn't be because Jevons was still with you back in 2013, and unless you're talking about pushing up Roses, who was the only other person to leave in this time frame, which you can't be because her, as far as I know, her real name doesn't start with a J, you couldn't have been talking about anyone else. People were able to deduce this because you got just enough of it there that you just let it slip through the cracks, just to have this happen, because you knew. I don't care if you say you never knew. You knew that people were going to focus on this the most. You knew that this was going to be brought up. You knew this was going to try and distract from everything. Well, guess what? You only made things worse for yourself. Because now, you got people on the site that were making, like, heartfelt things about Jew Wario, about the character of who he was, because they wanted to leave his legacy off of there. Even some of the producers, like Mars Girl, didn't know, and she is heartbroken about this on Twitter. Nobody knew. Except for the one person who, again, I don't want any of you going after this person who wanted to remain anonymous. They didn't want backlash over this, but Channel Awesome was the one who brought this out into the limelight. If you want to blame anyone, blame them. Don't go after this person who didn't want backlash, who didn't want any of the attention. Go after them. And only them. Please. If you're going to go after anyone. You have Sage having the Jew Wario hat that's in his videos placed firmly on his desk as a symbol of Jew Wario's spirit still being with them. Guess what? Jew Wario, if you've deducted any of the accounts in there, any of the accounts of, what's been happening in the document, if we're to believe that all of the grooming was true, if we're to believe that the possible rape allegations are true, that just puts Justin in a whole new light. She was 18, granted. But do you want to know what else? Justin was also married at this time. I have no idea how the wife is feeling about this, and I can only feel nothing but sympathy for her at this point, without any other evidence to go off of. I feel terrible for the friends that they had. I feel terrible for Sephira, especially, on the wiki, who was in the fan documents, who was still in the forums, saying that he regarded Justin as a friend. Crossover Princess on the forums, who said that Justin was a good friend to them because they gave him advice in the videos. They met at conventions. All of it. Now everything about the suicide just paints it in a darker light than it has ever been before. That is the most fucked up part about all of this. That is the most fucked up twist to all of this. Because now, since all of the pieces are coming together, it all makes too much sense. And the fact that Channel Awesome knew about this and was told about this and confronted about it and still sat in it for 3 weeks afterwards, for years, makes this infinitely worse than them just saying nothing about this. If they hadn't made this document, we wouldn't have learned any of this. I want the delusions to come back, because at least with that, I wouldn't be as pissed off, angry, disappointed, sad, or just melancholy to this whole thing that I am now. The whole Change the Channel movement was what it wanted to be. I wanted the channel to improve. Now, because of everything that's happened, I don't even know what to do anymore. I'd rather see just this dumpster fire, this nuclear dumpster fire burn to the ground already. I said it in the last stream, and I'm going to say it again. There is no way, unless you tell us that one of the producers on there is a murderer or a serial killer or something to that effect, which I highly doubt. I very, very highly doubt. I'm just gonna, like, push that out of my mind. Unless you say something like that, there is no fucking way you can top this. We all thought We're Sorry You Felt That Way was bad. This is worse. This was far, far worse. And that's that. This is still an a live situation. For all I know, I might have to make a part 2 to this. Because there's still information coming out right now that is just, like, having everyone either leave the site that we're still good friends with Doug, or just, like, question everything that's been happening. I don't know what Sage is going to do at this point about the Jew Wario hat in his videos, because that's going to just raise even further questions for those that do know. And I feel bad for them now. Because Channel Awesome just... They had the chance. If they had stayed silent on this for a few more days, I would have let it go. Everyone would have let it go. By making that response, saying how much they were liars in an attempt to be right, all you did was stoke the fire. This thumbnail could not be a more accurate image. They were putting gasoline onto a fire that was just about to go out, and they made it worse. They rekindled it. This whole thing is a PR... It's not even a PR disaster. It's just a complete fucking catastrophe. Here's the thing. Jew Wario's character was a nice guy. That's what gets me. He was probably the best fucking actor on the site because he was able to hide this for years. The persona that he put on was a nice guy. The actual person behind it, now that we know that this is true, that I wasn't even going to comment on until we knew for a fact that this was true, and now we do, the person behind it was just terrible. He had his own inner demons. Maybe he was a good person, and these were just inner demons that he had. I have no way of knowing. Because he's gone. And the fact that they're trying to use this, and just use this as, like, a ploy to get people to just come to their side and say, oh, we're not the bad guys after all. Nuh-uh, all this is false. You see, this is false. They just shot themselves right in the foot. You just can't come back from this. There's no way. I don't know what to say. I don't know what you want me to say. Should I be disappointed in them? I've already been disappointed in them enough. Should I be angry? Yeah, everyone's pretty much angry. That's an understatement. Everyone's pissed about this. This is just catharsis for everyone involved in the whole change the channel situation. Never before did I think it would ever get to this point in particular. Let it all burn. And you want to know also the other thing about this? Tamara and Malcolm, who are almost completely innocent in all of this, have been, like, defending people, saying, like, oh, feels before facts, bruh, read the document. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they were forced into it by Mike Michaud or Doug, Rob, whoever, because that doesn't sound like they were doing it over their personal accounts. Maybe they were. Maybe they were doing it because, yeah, their careers are kind of at stake here. Their sponsorship, everything like with Doug, the Black Tux is gone, and all the other sponsors that Doug had, they're just gone. Everyone that was on the site has left. And for those that are asking, that because I've seen people asking, why didn't they go to the police? How would you go about that? So many of their other producers were at, like, the only one I can think of is Holly. But that was because she was trying to make, she didn't do it just so, like, oh, just to be there, just because she was stuck there and she never left. She wanted to make things better for the channel, like, for the other producers, to make sure that they would avoid this kind of mess. That's why they hired her to begin with. As for everyone else, there are creators in Europe. There are creators that are on the other side of the country, in other states. There are people that are just, like, don't really have that much access to internet. There's people that wouldn't have come forward anyway because of the sexual misconduct allegations, the rape allegations, and everything else. How would you even go about informing the police? You could inform the FBI, but they're not gonna... The FBI is not gonna, like, look into the just random aggregator company and think on the just on a surface level, because this is before the Not So Awesome document came out. This is before any of this came out. This is when, like, Allison and Phelan and the rest were the only ones who have left the site, and people knew about it, but there wasn't anything solid to go off of. Like, and the other thing too is that Chicago is an at-will state. They could just hire and fire as they please, with no reason given. I'm gonna read through the chat because, wow, you guys were busy while I was gone. This is just an absolute fucking mess. And it's not gonna end today. Oh no. No. I might have to come on later tonight, just in the past few hours, and see this. Channel Awesome is losing, like, 2,000 subscribers in, like, every few hours. It's getting that bad. And people are like, oh, it's the Fine Bros situation all over again. The Fine Bros had a lot... Fine Bros lost 2 million. Well, they had a lot more than 2 million. That's why it hurt so much. Channel Awesome only just had 1 million. Even if they dip below that, that's gonna hurt bad. Subscribing doesn't really do anything. The real telling point is the views and the like to dislike ratio, and the only video that ever came out past the Nostalgia Critic Woody Woodpecker review was Tamara's videos, which I legit feel bad for, because she said this is the worst week of her life. And Tamara and Malcolm have also said there will be a response video coming out, so I don't know what to think about that. Who it's from, I have no clue. But, like, on Tamara's video, the dislikes greatly outweigh the likes on there. It was originally, like, when people first checked, it was like 1,800 likes to 1,900 dislikes. And that number's just been growing. And it's the comment section that was, for Tamara's Never Seen, that was mostly calm, is just the change the channel stuff and people asking what the hell is going on. Right, I'm reading through the chat. They really half-assed, didn't they? I noticed they haven't made a new review this week. No, they did. It's just not on their YouTube channel. They added Giborio. Linkara's self-righteousness was a facade. No, that was part of his, like, character. That was the... Like, Linkara, Angry Joe, and all the rest of them that have come out with these allegations, as far as I know, like, they have their own skeletons in the closet of just making, like, really... like, doing kind of shitty stuff. Like, well, not shitty stuff, just making, like, shitty products, like the whole white man thing that Linkara did, or just being a little bit abrasive on Twitter. But it's nothing. It's, like, completely minuscule. They look like saints compared to this. Hell, for everything I've given him, you want to know who's come out really clean in all of this? I mean, he's not an angel or anything. He has done a lot of shit for that. But do you want to know, even though he's kind of been like a prick to this, who's coming out on top right now inside of the company? Rob. Because Doug's complicit. Mike is just evil. He's like lower than scum. Rob, according to like that one Facebook post he made where it was burning the Jedi Temple from the Last Jedi, on his Facebook page before it got deleted, that at least symbolizes that he kind of, I think that's what it's meant to symbolize, is that it was meant, like, he agrees this is just a complete dumpster fire, but, like, in the scene in the movie, it's also, like, supposed to be a symbol of renewal and a time to move past, but since then, he's disabled his Facebook account, which is sad, because for, like, the longest time before any of this came out, I actually, like, thought his Facebook posts were kind of funny, in a sense, like, I didn't think they were, like, laugh out loud hysterical, but they definitely kept with his sense of humor, I'll say that much. And now it's just all gone. Jewelry was the one grooming it. Yeah, Wendy talked about this earlier, so it kind of revealed it. Half-assed? Nope. Half is entirely too generous. I doubt I'd give them as much credit as to say they 100th. They 100th-assed it. Yeah, essentially. There was only one person fired during the time of their chat log. I'd rather not speculate on the reasons of his suicide. Yeah, I don't know if that's what... I know what I said earlier. I don't know if that, like, was the case. But if that was, and it was a combination of, like, stress, like, depression, as the website... I don't doubt that it is, because there was also a lot of other stuff, and it's a really complex issue. But if it was also on top of that to, like, hide it, or, like, to like make sure none of this was happening or ever got out, it would make sense. I don't want it to be true, but with everything else that's come out, it kind of seems like it. Which is a terrible, terrible thing to think about. There was more than one Jane Doe. According to, like, other sources that I've heard, it wasn't just one, not even two people, but it was 3 people who this happened to. Just from what I've heard. We know of 2 so far from, like, the earlier documents and that, and earlier documentation of it. But, as of now, we don't know if there is even a 3rd person. We only know of 2. There is a Reddit with 1 victim. So, okay, so maybe never mind. Maybe they're, that's right. They claimed it on, the subreddit, or on the Reddit, the, page, or post they made. So yeah, that's where the 3rd person was. I completely forgot about that. He straight up raped a girl while she was passed out. Again, he's a good actor if that was the case. I'll say that. They made a movie in dedication to his legacy. Yeah, that's the worst part. Mars Girl didn't even know. She thought she did it just as him as a friend. She didn't know anything about this and just thought it would be like a nice little tribute. And to be fair, it was. It had his Kamen Rider character, Famicom Rider character, and him just end on a higher note, at least his persona and his character on the show. For who Justin Carmichael was in real life, yeah, she's just completely heartbroken about everything that's happened. Sorry guys, I'm looking through 3 different streams right now. It's alright, Wendy. I know this was earlier, but it's fine. Not a single person on Channel Awesome has legal experience. Yeah, that's an understatement. So much for my dream of joining Channel Awesome and making my own Kamen Rider parody like G-Warriors. Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt you could probably do it and uphold that sort of legacy with his character itself. But yeah, I would definitely not suggest joining Channel Awesome right now. Especially right now. Of course, the Chicago team had a better experience. They're the favorites, exactly. And some of them have even outright stated that no, they saw a lot of what happened, and they don't, you know, really they know that like other stuff happened behind the scenes, which is what gets me. And that's why I'm thinking that someone else higher up told them to say this, because this just seems so out of character for them, or at the very least it just feels like they're trying to do it to just keep their jobs, which I can completely understand. So far I'm still siding with Tamara and Malcolm, um, in that they're trying to keep their jobs. I'm all right with their. I can understand their things so far, and I can understand they're making a video coming up about this. But I don't. I really don't want that trust to be tested. I'm like done burning bridges at this point. Give it some weeks and everybody will forget. That's the thing. Everyone was supposed, like, everything was about to go back to normal, and then they just shot themselves in the foot again. I guarantee you, this is gonna, like, subside again, and then it's gonna start up again when they release the video. That's what gets me. They're making this worse. They'd be better off just staying silent at this point. Yeah, and all this shows is that they cared enough to find a hospital for her, but she was fired after all this. They only, like, okay, again, Holly May brought it up late to them, so I can sympathize them with in that respect, but it didn't help that, like, a few hours had passed and, like, they didn't even know what hospital, like, they didn't even know, um, like, they didn't even know what hospital to go to, what was even near her location, and this is on top of all the other shitty stuff that happened to her in the past that wasn't brought up in the document, like in the Our Response document, my bad. And yeah, they still fired her. She didn't leave, she was fired. That still sets a bad connotation, no matter how many, like, weeks or whatever it's been, because it shows that it was just such a bad experience, and that she didn't even leave of her own accord, because she wanted to try and fix things. And then they keep responding to that with, like, they only respond with accusations from female contributors. You realize you're, like, making yourself look like more of a sexist if you're only using the female contributors and saying, like, oh, these female contributors saying, so there must not be anything wrong. That's like saying, I have a black friend, so obviously I'm not racist. That's not how that works. That's a fool's argument. That's not how any of that works. Poured gasoline in a flame and on Channel Awesome and on himself. I'm also still trying to figure out if I liked or hated this. Oh my god. I can't speak tonight. I'm sorry. I'm just skimming through these because it's like, Christ. I would like to dedicate ended. Decade is a Common Writer, a Japanese show. Yeah, Joe is gone. Yep, Joe and Masako X have, like, left the show. I know this is earlier and people have already answered, but yeah, reaffirming, yeah, he left. He said, after everything that's come out, after new information has been given to me, I can no longer in good faith support Channel Awesome, and all of my videos will no longer be put on the site. And then Mike just deleted them immediately. He still hasn't learned. They don't even archive any of them. They're just outright delete those videos. Good evening in Germany. Welcome, Dural Trekkies. Sorry, I'm just getting this message so late. Soju Wario was not a very nice guy. His persona was, but I don't know. He just didn't. He like straight up raped someone. If what's said is to be believed, which I'm willing to believe the accusers over whatever is going to be coming out of there at this point, like from the document at this point. I do believe this was done to get heat off of themselves by having people go after G Wario. I don't think Michota's smart enough for that. I don't think he's that clever. I think that, I mean, I said it. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. but they still should have made, like, a more concerted effort to just, like, at least try and blot out that one letter. I mean, it still would have been short enough for people to figure it out, and the fact that you left the dates up there so that people could correlate what was happening didn't help. But out of all of the things, I don't think Mike did that out of malice. That was more just of sheer fucking stupidity. Justin was married. Yeah, he has there's a widow. Like, he had a wife. I don't think he had kids, but he definitely had a wife. Does this mean this is the reason for his suicide? I don't know. I feel kind of sick right now. That's sad about Justin. I don't know. It would make too much sense if it was, but at this point, again, speculation. Is it sure that Justin did this, or is this pure speculation? It is confirmed by Holly. It was confirmed by Mars Girl. It was confirmed by people who worked within the company. It was confirmed by pretty much Channel Awesome themselves in the document in correlation to the information they gave. Yeah, it's all but true. It's all but true at this point. Everything that you've heard about it and about him doing it is all just confirmed. Guys, I'm starting to think maybe changing the channel wasn't enough. Maybe we need to start thinking about burning the entire thing down. I'd be okay with burn the channel, honestly, at this point. And that was coming from someone who originally wanted Channel Awesome to succeed. And may I just say, I'm not usually the type of person to gloat about this, but I fucking told you so. I fucking told you, Mike. If your content and all of your talent was going to be bleeding out like that, then just having no content creators was going to be the least of your problems. Looky what just happened. Looky at what the fuck happened. A channel that has like 300 subs and like just made a video addressing this was smarter than you'll ever be. A college kid is smarter than you ever were. Let that sink in, Mike. Let that fucking sink in. Whoever wrote this, maybe it was Mike, maybe it was Greg, I don't care at this point. You're still an absolute moron in thinking this document was going to change anything. You just gave more people even more ammunition to file a class action lawsuit against you, or to sue you. You're, like, reading the document like you're gonna try and sue them back. Good fucking luck. You want this to turn to a digital homicide versus Jim Sterling situation? That's how you get a digital homicide versus Jim Sterling situation. Right as plain as day. And I should have break down when G Wario died. I was there for the live stream. This was just to hurt people. He was. Angry Joe, like, everyone who knew him, of his persona at least, was, like, completely distraught when, like, his death came out. They didn't know about any of this, yeah, they weren't aware. And when they did become aware, they're just, like, they're heartbroken, they're angry. They don't know how to respond to this. So it's Channel Awesome that's saying this shit about Jew Wario. In essence, they tried to hide it, but they failed at it. If it is, we're suddenly believing the shit they say now. Exactly. Why would we believe them now? They just made things worse. Man, this just gets worse and worse, but I wish it got better. Man, but it won't. It's sad. It's hurtful. I just don't even know how to feel about CA. I don't know how to feel about the situation in general. I didn't think, from everything that happened, it would ever get this bad. And I had already said last live stream that was probably going to be the final one, unless they did something stupid. Like, really fucking stupid. And this was it. I could not talk about it because I'm so far entrenched in this situation that, like, I couldn't just let this slide. I just got angry and pissed. Maybe I thought it'd be, like, just entertaining and cathartic for you all to hear it. I know that's why Frederick is, Knudsen, aka Down the Rabbit Hole, is doing his stream. I know that's why Mars Girl was doing her live reactions, especially to add, like, more info about what was coming out. Because what else can you say to this? You have to discuss it. You have to talk about this. Otherwise, who else is going to? The fact that this was able to get such a movement started just from like myself and a few other people that were content producers talking on Twitter, that should say something. That should say just how much of a shit show this was and how worse it got because Mike kept shooting himself in the foot and only adding fuel to the fire. It should have never gotten this bad. Channel Awesome would have been better if they said nothing at all, but they didn't. They had to stick their noses in it. They had to cut off the nose with the face and spite. And they ended up just throwing it right... They ended up throwing the nose and the face along with it right into the dumpster. I was not even someone who watched Wario videos, but goddamn, this feels like a punch to the gut. I never watched this stuff either. I watched a few of his stuff. I watched a few of his Famicom Rider videos, and I've said this in an earlier live stream. But yeah, it still feels like a punch to the gut. It still feels just absolutely awful. How has Channel Awesome not gotten into legal trouble with the law over this? I have no idea. Like, because, okay, I could see just the few producers leaving and hearing the side stories. I've already explained why, like, they couldn't exactly go to the police over this. And the class action lawsuit... No, actually, I do know why. Because a class action lawsuit would cost a lot of time and money that the creators would rather have invested in trying to, rebuild their audience and actually, sustain a job. Exception to that I can think of in my mind was with Digital Homicide and Jim Sterling. But Jim Sterling was already supported by his Patreons, and he never let that get in the way of his actual content, because his content is fairly easy to produce, at least the Jimquisitions are. And that was just one dude, and he was, like, almost worked to death. And now imagine that on a group scale with, like, several different people. I didn't want it to get out of... I didn't want it to be a case where there was, like, the public was court, jury, and, or court, case, juror, whatever, but it just got that way because Channel Awesome wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. Whoever was in there just wouldn't stop. They turned an automatic on their feet and wept over... they turned an automatic on their feet and wept over being given only 10 toes to shoot. I feel like I'm gonna be sick. Just end this. I'm sorry. I wanted to end it, like, days ago. I was in the middle of working on another video. Just a regular video. No more live streams. And I made, like, just a Let the Dust Settle live stream. Immediately after I finished my live stream last night, like, an hour later, all of this shit happened. How fucking ironic. What a, like, just cherry on top of this shit pile. Just got here. Care to see the Wario thing is true. I already have said my piece on that, like, several times. Yeah. If you just watch the live stream afterwards, just go back even, like, a few minutes. I talk about this. Let's hope CA doesn't start putting the heat on the Widow just to get the heat off of them, even though she had nothing to do with it. Yeah. Also, don't go after her. She also didn't have anything to do with this. And the fact that, like, it seems that they were the ones that brought this up to begin with and made people connect the dots. It's not the Widow's fault. She probably never knew. And if she did know, that would be different. But as far as we are concerned, she didn't. She was, like, distraught. She didn't know why this happened. Nobody knew why this happened for the longest time until, like, facts came out about, like, the depression and financial issues and that. And then this came out and just made everything so much worse and so much more complicated. I'm at least glad Joe seems to care more about just ad revenue and Patreon donations. Exactly. On Mars Girl's stream a bit ago, she confirmed that Sage was leaving after someone said Guru Larry posted it. after someone said Guru Larry posted that. Okay, so Sage is also getting out of there. Okay, that makes sense. But then they'll have no one for the comics and anime section left. Which, I mean, whatever. I guarantee you I refresh it and he's gone. Nope, he's still there. But I think maybe they just haven't removed his videos or Sage hasn't made a public statement about it. I don't know. Juwario was like the CA martyr. Turns out he was the worst fucking one. Worse than a... No. I mean, yes and no. Because the stuff he did was egregious. And, like, you can't compare the two. That's comparing apples to oranges. Because Juwario may have done some just downright horrible stuff to, like, the, like, grooming, the raping, everything that happened with that. That was horrible. But, like, if you can't exactly compare that to Michaud. Michaud had all of this stuff happen over a 10-year period. For all we know, Juwario did too. But you can't, again, like, you can't compare it. You can't exactly say they're, like, one and the same. They're not. These are two different issues. Michaud is just a terrible manager and just a disgusting, lying piece of a human being that even he like, pretended to care in a Skype call before, like, Holly was fired. That is a sign of just someone who doesn't give a shit. Juwario and that piece is its own thing altogether. I can't speak for that, nor can I say that that was any better or worse than what happened with Michaud, or the management of Channel Awesome. Are we the jury for CA in this case, or are we the executioners? We're a public jury at this point. That's not what anyone wanted, but it's gotten to that point, and I'm sad that it's gotten to that point. It should have never gotten to that point, and it should have never gotten to this point right now, where we now have to tell people not to harass others and, like, actually make a fine line in the sand saying, do not do this, you fucking morons. Just leave well enough alone. And if Channel Awesome does that, well, that's their problem. And then guess what? Channel Awesome did exactly that without anyone provoking it. The only place I heard anyone, like, talking about this or speculating about it was in the forums, and then all of this came to light, and it turns out all the speculation there was absolutely fucking true. Oh, because of what CA posted. That's what gets me. That's what gets me. This is just super crap-a-fuckerific XBL bullshit. You took that from the NC. But it explains this situation so well. I'm not even mad. CA did this themselves. That doesn't matter. That's a don't harass the wife. Yeah, do not go do not go after the wife. Like, at all. Wait, right. Where is it? Do not go after the wife. She's been through enough. She didn't know when he was where. No, don't start theories. We already know he committed suicide. That was, like, enough. Don't start, like, contemplating that she murdered him. Don't do that. For fuck's sake. You know, I'm gonna remove that. That's, no. You don't say that, Cameron. You were fine before, but even if you're just joking, you don't say that. I need to find the video, but there was a video done in Juwario where there was someone who came out after he died that he was a piece of shit and didn't know him like she did. I remember that video, and I remember that they got a lot of flack for it. I don't know who it was, but I do know that that video did exist at one point. You can find it. I don't suggest going after the girl if you do find out who it is. For the love of fuck, don't do that. But find the video itself and see if, like, there was... Because they were just completely shit on for it, and I felt bad for them now. I feel even worse for them now. Especially if they didn't want any of that backlash to begin with. I wish there was some good news right now, like this second. Like, one of the content creators released a new doc that said, here's some fun stuff that happened in CA that wasn't evil, but that wouldn't help. It would just seem like a cop-out. I mean, that's what the content creators have been saying. A lot of they have had good experiences with the other content creators and have met lifelong friends there. But now, even the lifelong friends bit has been called into question with what's been happening. This could not have gone any worse for them. It couldn't have gotten, like, any... Just... They couldn't have made this more of a dumpster fire. They couldn't have shot themselves more in the foot. Any analogy to say they done fucked up. Because they done fucked up. The only good news about it is that people are just leaving en masse from there, and as they should. For those that stayed, whatever. It's their choice if they want to stay after all of this or not. Maybe some of them legitimately forget that they're on the site. But, like, I don't know. Wow, someone tried to come out with a video and got flack for it. I remember the video, but that also might be my foggy memory, so don't take that as fact. I just do remember there being a video. It might be deleted or unlisted, privated, like, or just completely wiped now. So, until otherwise, do not take what I said there as fact. That's just me personally saying something that is of my own knowledge. You done fucked it up, Angry Joe. Much as I hate quoting Spoonie, betrayal! Betrayal! Spoonie was the right one all along in all of this. That would be really fucked up if, like, Spoonie was, like, actually came out right in the end with this. I mean, I know he can't say his piece on Twitter about all of this for various reasons. I mean, at this point, I just hope the dude's doing alright. Honestly. Or what? No, I'm not doing the whole wife knew they had a fight and, like, cheating and before he killed himself. No, I'm not having that. Even if it is true or not, I'm not, like, divulging that. I know TJ Kirk made a video talking about how CA was shit 6 years ago. That's the thing. 5 to 6 years ago, this was still a problem, and none of it has been addressed. Yeah, please stop talking about the wife at all. Just for the love of God, she has nothing to do with this. I don't even want to see it as a joke or about rumors. Just stop. Like, really, stop. You're not helping anything. And if you do think you're helping anything, then just, why are you here? I'm just gonna remove it anyways. I'll read it so that people know, like, just how, like, you're trying to dig up shit on this, but I'm just gonna, I'm gonna delete it so that no one else can actually find it. Just stop. Really, just stop. I remember Guru Larry was on Channel Awesome, right? He left a long time ago, but I just want to make sure. He has not left. He recently stated that he's one of those people that was on the fence, but it was also because of my own experiences with the site, they couldn't give less of a shit if I stayed or left. So he's, at this point, I would highly consider him to be on one of the ones about to leave the site. Anything else, the response didn't even deal with some of the main comments. That's what gets me. They cherry-picked some of the, like, lamest arguments and some of the hot topic issues because they knew that people were going to try and overshadow it. They had the idea that, oh, people were going to just go about these because these are the hot topics, even though they're not one of the main ones. Newsflash, people are actually not dumb sheeple. A lot of people on the internet are not dumb sheep. Some people on the internet are not dumb sheeple. You guys here are not dumb sheeple. The followers of... Okay, point is, people didn't take that crap lightly. Okay, thanks. Couldn't find any info at all, Larry. No problem. With all the stuff going on with Channel Awesome, I'm just wondering that age-old phrase, where do we go from here? What needs to be done? Burn it. Even if they, like, just somehow slide under this, it doesn't matter. The reputation of the site's already been tarnished, and they made it worse. Do you think they will possibly go to court for hiding this bad stuff? It depends on what the producers want to do from here. It honestly depends. I don't expect it. If it does happen, I don't know who's going to make it. I know the producers just want to move on from this, but I don't know if Michaud is willing to let it go. I agree with you there. Yeah. Court, try shooting for jail. I mean, they still have to go to court to make it in jail, but you know. Someone needs to spill the beans about September 6, 2013. That'll put the end to Channel Awesome. Cameron, I'm going to say this once. Post what happened on September 6, 2013. If it's another baseless rumor, it'll be removed. If it's actually something that is, like, evidence to the conversation that you can back it up with, tell us. Do you worry? It was a kitty groomer I saw it on the news on Twitter. And it's more than just the news. It's kind of everywhere at this point. But again, don't let that distract from, like, all of the other shit that is, like, happened. Like, all of the stuff with this. Imagine if Showed idiotically decided to take the people to court. He would lose. He would get thrown out of there. I don't doubt that's what he'd do, because he's dumb enough to do it, and he's, like, too egotistical to not do it, because he'll think he'll get some gain out of it. He'll get thrown out of court, like, the second he tries to bring it up. If anything, if he tries to bring it up, the judge would be like, okay, all of your statements here are just reaffirming what they're... It's basically going to be like what we're saying. It's only reaffirming this. If anything, they have a case against you. You sure you want to go through with this? If this is the evidence and we back it up, I think we have another issue. Alright, Cameron, since you're not going to, like, divulge the information, I'm just going to remove that. Because I don't want anything, like, spreading false rumors about what's happened. About whatever supposed date, September 6, 2013, whatever the hell that was supposed to mean. Wait, if CA kept this a secret and they go to court, would they get the people who quit Channel Awesome after the document to go to court too, since they were at Channel Awesome and affiliated with them at the time? No, they can only represent themselves as, like, the management. It would basically be management against employers. Like, but, like, I don't think there'd be travel costs. It would be a whole, like, ordeal to try and have this happen. Wait, I just got here. Jawari was the one who groomed the minor. Yes. Like, it's been confirmed by Holly, by the document itself, after some deduction, because they let just enough of it slide. It's been confirmed by Mars Girl, who is just devastated right now in several different ways. And again, please leave the producers be. I really don't feel like I need to say this, especially those in the forums who are still, like, beginning to do something. Even if you're drunk, or even if you're doing that, don't. Like, even if you think you have answers, no. You don't deserve to have answers given to you, or deserve to, like, blame others for what's been happening. They don't owe you an explanation to what's going on in their personal lives. And neither should you be curious about that. This started as a dumpster fire, now it's a garbage truck fire rolling towards a gas station. The Jewelry Saga happened in 2013. What happened? Let it die. No, there was more to it than that. Yeah, if this goes to court, I imagine they'll subpoena everyone. Yeah, that's the only way I could, like, see that. They could, like, subpoena individuals if they wanted and, like, really drag it out. That's if they go to court. But, like, no sensible judge is going to look at that and say, you know, they might have a case. No, anyone with, like, half a brain could see just how bad this is. Like, and if they if he does fight a case, they're just gonna find it in, like, I don't know. I don't expect it to be this whole ordeal. Like I said before, the hashtag must be changed to burn the channel. There is no saving grace after this garbage truck fire rolling towards a gas station. And that's sad. I should just, like, rename this to just burn the channel afterwards. VA's Freddy Lounge and Manhunter rolling to the parking garage engulfed in flame. Or CA is Freddy Lounge and Manhunter rolling through the parking garage engulfed in flames. Did I read Tony Goldmark's tweets? That depends on which tweets you're talking about. If you're talking about ones from, like, a couple hours ago, yeah, I have seen them. If you're talking about any that he's, like, just writing now, then I haven't. Where's all the Juwarrior stuff coming from? Again, watch this, like, earlier stream. Watch back even a few minutes. We've been discussing this. Mike and his ego won't let this go. He's gonna fight with the Walker, so I'll have the last word. I don't think he's not, according to Tony, he's not the one to have the last word, but he is one to just drag this through the dirt as much as possible. We're the only wait, there's more to this. Where is it? Whoop. And I feel absolutely terrible about Juwarrior's life. Should find out about this. Yeah, me too. Alright. Where the only circumstances are fiduciary, e.g. Channel Awesome will go bankrupt, though honestly I think the Juwarrior stuff and the withholding of proof is enabling sex trafficking /rip. I wouldn't say sex trafficking. That wasn't a thing, but yeah, the rape charges are kind of damning. Yeah, people are upset about this. Like, I feel terrible. I know people who watched and look up to all of these guys, Juwarrior especially, because he was, like, considered one of the nicest guys on the site. Now, this has taken such a dark turn. I feel so bad for even the people who knew him closely. I wonder if Mike also owns that guy with the glasses. Mike and 5 other people own, like, the company. Apparently. Or no, Mike and 4 other people. There's 5 people. They didn't disclose if it was Mike who also had stake in it. The fact that they were using a dead man as their shield is pissing me off. Well, that's the thing. They also kind of hid it, so they didn't directly use him as a shield, but they did. The dates correlated, and people figured out that it was they were basically using a dead man as a shield. I don't know if that was intended. I don't think Mike did that out of malice, but just out of sheer stupidity, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was out of malice at this point. I bet by the end of the week they will have 900,000 subscribers, probably. I'm expecting it to be sooner, actually. Because we're, like, nearing the end of the week, and their subs, people have been doing live tallies. They've been dropping like flies. Like, it's about 500 now every, like, half an hour. And 1,000 every hour. If not more. If enough people leave CA, what are they going to do then? Well, I mean, they still have Doug, and that's the one who gets them the most. That's the one who gets the most traffic. Their subs started losing faster and faster again. They're dropping faster than a lead brick in a swimming pool. Yeah, it was down to a trickle before, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse, and then it has now exploded again. And they've not helped anything. They've only brought this upon themselves. It's simple to say the Nostalgia Critic character is dead along with Channel Awesome. Who knows? Ralph could become the Nostalgia Critic. It would not be the same, but it would still be okay and won't be in evil hands. I don't know about the Nostalgia Critic. I think they're still going to do videos. What's going to be telling is how damning the rest of it's going to be. And especially how Tamara and Malcolm are going to be, like, now that everything's happened and they're just kind of like, they've said it's just like the worst experience of their entire lives. It's gotta weigh heavy on them. And I think that might show in their work coming up. I don't know. I don't even know if there will be a new Nostalgia Critic review next week. There could be, there could not be. Who knows? This didn't just become way worse. They poured on gasoline onto an already raging dumpster fire, then kicked that sumbitch into hell. We're all shocked about it, seeing as how everyone who knew him spoke so highly of him, but it's true. Ollie Mars girl just confirmed it. Yep. I feel sorry to Tamara and Malcolm and speak to the people. Yeah, we're just reiterating the same points, aren't we? I have a thing to go to at around 6:30. And I will be back later tonight, but I also have to work on like one other thing for this week. Who knows if I'll be back on. This could get a shit ton worse by tonight, or it could just, just be a point of reflection on everything that's happened tonight. I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna end the stream here. There's not really much else to be discussed. Who knows? May do another stream on this. May not. Probably going to if this gets any worse. Which it really can't get any worse from here. But yeah. Hey, it's more entertaining than ending it off on that melancholy note before. Thank you to everyone who supported Change the Channel. Thank you to everyone in the chats. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel thus far. I promise you that I will try to avoid this subject any further as much as possible and get that actual video done for you all. And I'm so sorry that this has just completely consumed the channel and that it's just become like a whole one-trick pony situation right now. And I want to thank everyone who's further supported me, given support on Twitter and through other avenues, like Lizzie Robinson, random commenter, just there's so many people I could thank, but yeah, I might see you tonight, might not, whatever. Point is, I guess the best way to end the stream is, we can no longer change the channel. We need to throw out the remote, burn, and just like burn the channel, burn the TV with it, or the computer. Either way, there's no saving grace here. But know this, I'll try and many people at this point, not even myself. What am I talking about? A lot of people are going to try and make do with what they can and go support these other creators elsewhere. If anything, to just support their individual endeavors. And if there's a silver lining to this, know it's that they got out of there at the best time they probably ever could. And for those that stayed, I wish them nothing but luck with the situation they've been given. Till then, everyone, take care. Sorry, I messed it up. Take care, everyone. And I will see you all for whatever I plan next. Catch you all later. Have a good rest of your night. And if I don't see you, have a good rest of your weekend. Until next time, goodbye.